Hello students, welcome to EPG Parshala. I am Dr. Savita. Today we are going to discuss about the module Important Museum from the paper Tourism Products of India. After completing the module, the students will be able to understand the meaning and concept of museum, understand various types of museums and also know about the museums of national importance. The rich architectural and cultural heritage of India attracts tourists from all over the world, making each and every place a museum in itself. It is the development of post independence India that Indian art become recognizable all across the world. The Indian artifacts have become the prized possession of more and more museums abroad, and as a result have created lot of interest in Indian museums. The concept of museums in India developed post independence, and now they have occupied a major space in the country. In the 16th and 17th century, the idea of acquiring things of beauty, magic and curiosity by the individuals, religious establishments and administrative units of the state became prevalent. The purpose of this was to enhance their social status and to flaunt their collection in the society. This continued in the 17th and early 18th century, but soon the collectors realized that the collection had become incomprehensible. So, they started to take interest or help of learned people in understanding their collection. But in the 18th and early 19th century, a new concept developed and the personal collections were offered for private collection by their owners. Many of them even donated their collections to the universities of institutions, and hence began the concept of modern museum. As the private collections were no more private, they had become public. It is during this period that many museums came into existence. For example, the Indian Museum, Kolkata in 1814, the Government Museum, Chennai in 185 from the donations of private collectors. According to the ICOM statutes, a museum is a non-profit permanent institution in the service of society and its development open to the public, which acquires, conserves, researches, communicates and exhibit the tangible and intangible heritage of humanity and its environment for the purpose of education, study and enjoyment. According to another definition, museums are actions and incentives to share the meanings and values that give rise to the creation of objects that are collected and exhibited. Museums should not focus only on objects but on what they have been meaning. Etymology of the word museum. The word museum is of ancient Greek origin, which means a temple or a place dedicated to Moses. Types of museum. There are many types of museum depending upon the type of collection based on their specialization. The different types of museum are archaeology museum. Archaeology museums houses are archaeological objects and may be of two types: open air site museum or indoor that displays artifacts found in archaeological sites inside the building. Art museum. An art museum usually display art objects from the visual arts, primarily paintings, illustrations and sculptures. Biographical museums. Biographical museums are dedicated to items associated to the life of an individual and may also display the items collected by their subjects during their lifetimes. Rail museums. Rail museums is a museum that tells about the history of all aspects of rail related transportation. Ethnology or ethnographic museum. Ethnology museum are the type of museum that emphasize on the study, collection, preservation and display of artifacts and objects concerning ethnology and anthropology, especially for the countries that possesses diverse ethnic groups or ethnic minorities. Maritime museums. Maritime museums are museums that presents before the visitor the maritime history, culture or archaeology. Natural History Museum. Museums of natural history and natural science typically exhibit work of the natural world that focuses on nature and culture. Zoological parks and botanic gardens. Zoos are considered living museums that exist to educate, inspire action and to study, develop and manage collections. Zoos are managed just like other museums and face the same challenges. Museums in India can be broadly classified into two categories. One is museum of national importance and the second one is museums of state importance and city museums. Discussed below are some of the important museums of India. Museums of India, museums of national importance. National Museum, New Delhi, National Museum, New Delhi or the National Museum of India is one of the largest museum in India. It was in 1949 that an exhibition of Indian artifacts collected from various museums in India came back from London. It was decided to put the exhibition on display in the premises of Chhatrapati Bhavan for more than a decade for the benefit of domestic tourists, scholars and interested persons. It was because of the interest and vision of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the then Prime Minister of India. The present museum building was built as Janpath and the collection was shifted. It was under the guidance of one of the great museum expert, Dr. Grace Morley, that the collection was cared, developed, displayed and arranged. The legacy was then forwarded to Sri Sivaramamurthy, who not only contributed in the growth of the museum but also in the field of academics. The museum takes pride in holding approximately 2 lakh objects of a diverse nature, both Indian as well as foreign. The administrative control of National Museum is under the Ministry of Culture, Government of India. The museum is one of the major attractions for tourists as it displays the art and heritage of India. The museum has number of galleries, but the noteworthy are the bronze gallery and has a huge collection of stone sculptures, prehistoric antiquities, anthropological collection, numismatic arms and armory, decorative arts, etc. It also has a collection of pre-Columbian art and world's largest collection of Central Asian antiquities collected by Sir Aurel Stein. Besides this, one of the major attractions is the relics of Buddha that are kept in the Buddhist artifact gallery. The museum also has a huge collection of books in its library, a big auditorium and a conservation laboratory. The museum also has National Museum Institute of History of Art, Museology and Conservation. Allahabad Museum, Allahabad, a museum of national level established in 1931, has a rich collection of archaeological materials and other objects. In 1863, a request was made to establish public library and a museum, and in 1878 then a new building was inaugurated to house the collection donated by the famous Orientalist Sir William Moore and the Maharaja of Vijayanagaram. The museum was closed down in 1881 for unanticipated reasons, and then it opened in 1923-4 because of the initiative taken by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. It was under guidance of Pandit Brij Mohan Vyas. The museum acquired important and later S.C. Kala, the first curator, worked hard in enriching the collection of the museum. In 1954, the collection was shifted to the new museum building that was open to the public. The museum is founded by Ministry of Culture and provides the rich source of materials to the researchers of various fields. The museum has large collection of rare sculptures, paintings, terracotta of the Ganga and Yamuna Dwab ranging from 3rd century BCE to 20th century CE. There is a good collection of painting of a famous Russian painter Alexander Roerich. The museum also possesses a collection of personal objects of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Indian Museum, Kolkata. Indian Museum was founded in 1814 and is situated in the present building of Asiatic Society. The museum is known as one of the earliest and largest museum of the country. The museum has a rich collection of oldest phase of Indian civilization dating from 3500 to 1700 BCE, and also a gallery dedicated to the Egyptian art and culture. The mummy and the railing of Bharat Saputa are the major attractions of the museum besides many other important artifacts. The museum has rich collection of sculptures, paintings, coins, textiles, and also has the department of anthropology, zoology and botany. The museum is known amongst the best museum of the world, as it is in the single place that we can get to see the rare object of even obscure dynasties and periods and get a glimpse of rich Indian art and culture. Salarjung Museum, Hyderabad. The Salarjung Museum of Hyderabad is known for its rich collection of Western art acquired by Nawab Mir Yusuf Ali Khan, which attracts lots of domestic tourists. The three generations of Salarjung's passion of acquiring art objects resulted in enriching the collection, and most of the collection were brought in Indian and European markets as curious. This gives the real flavor of the Indian aristocracy of the 19th and 20th century. The museum is known for its great collection of jades, arms, miniatures, paintings and Far Eastern porcelain. NGMA, New Delhi. The idea to have a national art gallery evolved in 1949 and NGMA was inaugurated on March 29, 1954 in the beautiful building of Jaipur House. The butterfly shaped building with a central dome was designed by Sir Arthur Bloomfield as a residence for the Maharaja of Jaipur in 1936. It was designed after the idea of central hexagon that was envisioned by Sir Edwin Lutyens. The inauguration of NGMA was marked by an exhibition of sculptures of all the prominent sculptors of the time like Devi Prasad Rai Chaudhary, Ram Kinkar Baiji, Sankho Chaudhary, Dhanraj Bhagat Sarbari, Roy Chaudhary and others. The show was curated by Hermann Gorge, a noted German art historian who was also responsible for getting up the Baroda Museum. Among the distinguished artists whose work are displayed in the galleries are Rabindranath Tagore, Nandlal Bose, Ambindranath Tagore, Ravi Verma, Raja Ravi Verma, Gaganendranath Tagore, Gemini Roy, D.P. Roy Chaudhary, Amrita Shergill, Sudhir Khastagir, N.S. Bendre, Mohan Samat, M.F. Hussain, Satish Gujral, Akbar Padamse and J. Swaminathan. Today, it is undoubtedly the most significant collection of modern and contemporary art in the country today. There are two more NGMAs in the country, NGMA Mumbai and NGMA Bengaluru, with the same motto of promoting modern and contemporary art of the country. Museums of State Importance and City Museum. Victoria Memorial, Kolkata. The Victoria Memorial Hall was erected through the efforts of Lord Curzon, Viceroy of India from 1899 to 1905. That was dedicated in memory of Queen Victoria, highlighting the Indo-British history, also known as Taj of Raj. The building has a typical Italian Renaissance style that blend with nuances of Orientalism, which stand today as a fine example of Indo-British architecture in India. The building looks amazing with vast swathes of shining white marble and portraits and statues of all the main players in the history of British India. The galleries of the museum gives a refreshing experience of Indians living under British rule. The collection also includes objects of historic importance belonging to eminent personalities like Aurangzeb, Tipu Sultan, Maharaja Ranjit Singh, etc. One of the section is dedicated to the Indian independence movement, while the collection highlighting the contribution of various freedom fighters. The collection of the museum was enriched by the loan of Ravindra Bharati Society dedicated to Bengal School of Art, contributing the painting of famous Bengal masters. The Victoria Memorial, also a library with around 16,000 books which related to history of art and museum studies. Government Museum, Chennai. The museum is situated in Egmore and is one of the oldest museums in India, housed in a building known as Pantheon Complex, which is unique example of Indo-Saracenic style. The museum has a rich collection of South Indian bronze, stone sculptures, numismatics, prehistoric antiquities, anthropological objects, botanical and zoological objects. It also has a unique collection of art objects from Amravati Stupa and other stupas and Chatyagrahis in Andhra Pradesh, which belongs to the period from 2nd century BCE to 4th century CE. There are number of objects belonging to the South Indian which presents a complex panorama of South Indian art and culture as well as natural environment. The museum also has collection of Roman artifacts which is one of the largest outside Europe. Adjacent to the museum is a famous art gallery that has some of best bronze masterpieces including Rama, Lakshma and Sita, and a gallery dedicated to the painting of Raja Ravi Verma. National Handicrafts and Handloom Museum or Craft Museum, New Delhi. All India Handicraft Board undertook the task to collect and preserve the Indian crafts as an objective to study, research and reproduce and save it for the future generations. It was the great efforts of the then board's chairman Srimati Kamla Devi Chattopadhyay who took the initiative for developing a museum of outstanding examples and finally in 1956-7 got the space to display these artifacts in Delhi. The museum has a rich collection of dolls, toys, paintings, textiles, wood, metal objects, terracotta and jewelry from various parts of India. The major pride of museum is the textile collection, which reveal the craftsman's depth of bold color, decorative designs and motifs as well as the ability of rendering simple and varied design in woven material. The museum has a rare specimen of a very large size kalamkari print, Baloch lace, mouse patomatics, Banaras brocades, Gujarat patolas, Tanjore silks, Punjab fulkaris, Kashmir shawl and decorative kanthas from Bengal. Besides these, the collection has wide variety of specimens of costume designs, embroidered works, choli pieces, and ghagras, India is also rich in jewelry, and the traditional designs are mostly shaped in folk types, and therefore Crafts Museum takes initiative to collect and preserve as many designs as much possible, as these are now on the verge of extinction. National Rail Museum, New Delhi. The idea of opening Transport Museum took a final shape in 1970 under the guidance of Mr. Michael Graham Seto, who was a rail enthusiast. It was the then President of India, Shri V.V. Giri, who laid the foundation stone for the Rail Transport Museum at its present site in Chanakyapuri, New Delhi on October 7, 1971. The museum is a part of the larger complex covering the history of railways, roadways, airways and waterways in India, which later on developed into a full-fledged National Rail Museum in the year 1995. The National Rail Museum covers a land area of over 11 acres, and indoor gallery comprises an octagonal building housing 6 display galleries and a large open display area that functions as a railway yard. The Museum of Railway was inaugurated by Honorable Minister Shri Kamlapati Tripathi on 1st February 1977. National Museum of Natural History, New Delhi. The Museum of Natural History came into existence because of the vision of Srimati Indira Gandhi, with the idea to educate the public about its flora, fauna and mineral wealth, and also to create awareness environmental among the masses. On 5th June 1978, NMNH was opened to the visitors on World Environment Day. The main museum has also established its regional museum of natural history in other parts of the country, such as Southern region, Mysore, Central region, Bhopal and Eastern region, Bhubaneswar. Besides this, other 2 more museums are being established in Western region and Northeastern region. The NMNH works on various aspects of learning with the help of their educational programs, information services, publications, film shows, etc. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Vastu Sangrahalaya, Prince of Wales Museum. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Vastu Sangrahalaya was previously known as Prince of Wales Museum, housed in a Grade 1 heritage building designed by George Winnett, which is a fine example of Indo-Saracenic style and has claimed 2010 UNESCO Asia Pacific Heritage Award for Cultural Heritage Conservation. The Indian Heritage Society has also conferred it the first place for heritage building maintenance. It was built to commemorate King George's first visit to India in 1905, though it didn't open until 1923. The museum has collection related to arts, culture that includes impressive sculptures from Elephanta Island, Gujarat and Karnataka, terracotta, figurine from Indus Valley, Gandharan Buddhas, miniature paintings, porcelain, arms and armory, etc. It is also a natural history section and a collection of European paintings. Teen Murti House, Nehru Memorial Museum, New Delhi. Nehru Memorial Museum, New Delhi. The Nehru Memorial Museum is a personalia museum dedicated in the memory of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and is in part preserved as when he lived there, in part an exhibition in his memory. The museum has his study and bedroom, which is preserved exactly as they were on the day of his death. The bedroom is striking by its simplicity, while his office room at the external ministry has been reconstructed in the same manner in one of the rooms of Teen Murti. A gallery having all the gifts given to Jawaharlal Nehru as token of respect have been put on display. The original degree conferred by Cambridge and the Bharat Ratna medal presented to him in 1955 has been given a prominent position. The museum also a big library and planetarium named after him, Nehru Planetarium. Indira Gandhi Memorial Museum, New Delhi. This was the residence of Indira Gandhi, which was converted into museum after her assassination in 1984. It has on display the belongings of Indira Gandhi, including the sari she was wearing at the time of death. The study, bedroom, dining room have been preserved as they were in her time. In the garden, there is a crystal plaque on the spot where Indira Gandhi fell to the bullet of her assassination, which is guarded by two guards. ASI Museum Nagarjunakonda. The ASI Museum at Nagarjunakonda is one of the kind of site museum in India, situated in Machrela Mandal of the Guntur district, Andhra Pradesh. The ancient name of Nagarjunakonda was Vijaypuri, that was named after the great Satavahana rulers Vijaya Satyakarni. It was after the construction of the Nagarjuna Sagar dam built across river Krishna. The site got submerged underwater. To save the artifacts of the site, a museum was built on an island which is approached by motor launches operating from Vijaypuri south. It was the hard work of A.H. Longthirst, M.H. Qureshi and T.M. Ramachandram, who undertook the excavation and recovered the rich art heritage of limestone slab sculptures, both Buddhist and Brahmanical, inscriptions, etc. The site has temples, sputas, ketas, relocated on the island in open air, while the museum houses a rich collection of Ikshvaku art ranging from stone slabs from Nagarjunakonda Stoop, sculptures, etc. So students, let's discuss now what we have learnt in this module. We have discussed that now the rich architectural and cultural heritage of India attract tourism from all over the world, making each and every place a museum in itself. It is the development of post-independence India that Indian art became recognizable all across the world. The Indian artifacts have become the prized possession of more and more museums abroad, and as a result have created lot of interest in Indian museum. The concept of museum in India developed post independence, and now they have occupied a major space in the country. Thank you.